All right, Sonny, in this first clip, you're playing left back, and the opponent you're responsible for is their right winger. A lot of the time when the ball is upfield, you're way too far behind the play. You should actually be in front of this player, or at least right on their back, so that they can never receive that ball and turn and face. And if that ball does come to them, you can step forward and intercept or put immediate pressure. But this player should never even be able to get a half turn to face you. Here's another instance. Your starting position here is actually a good starting position, but as the ball gets played to their right back and you know this ball is going to go to their winger, you need to step here earlier to be on their back to intercept this ball. This is the difference between them getting a throw in it and continuing upfield, or you intercepting and being able to counterattack. Here's an instance where you actually do a really good job of stepping up in front of this winger and getting underneath the person with the ball. Here, what you're looking for is if that player with the ball runs into trouble or turns that ball, you're always a back pass option. Here's another one. If you notice in this clip, they have two forwards. At some point in this game, they switched to two forwards instead of three. And what you'll notice when playing against a team with two forwards as an outside back, you'll have a lot more space underneath to receive that ball and drop passes underneath wingers and midfielders. However, when they play with three forwards, a lot of the time in transition play, you have to run up the field in order to get the ball instead of being an option underneath. Here we have a nice little wall pass combination with the center back building out. One thing I do want to caution you about is when you play center backs, make sure they have a lot of space. In this situation, this was actually a good combination, but in future ones, you're going to see that you put the center backs under pressure a lot in building out. You have to be super careful. Now look in transition here. We end up getting this ball out of the back, and initially you start going and you tail off here. Why? You need to continue running. You need to be 3 or 4 yards in front of this winger so that you can be a pass back option. Now, because you don't do this, our center midfielder drops in and receives here instead of you, but you could be the one getting this ball and joining the attack. Watch that clip one more time. This next clip has a little bit of a movement error at the start, but you recover nicely and open your hips. One thing I would have liked to see is a little shoulder check, because you probably could have slid this ball down the line to the winger, but you chose the less desirable option because you didn't shoulder check playing back to the center back. It was a good ball back. One thing I love that you do is you do these little side movements with the ball because you're so technical to off balance the defender to buy yourself time. Check out this clip one more time. In this next clip, you do a beautiful shoulder check here where you see both the defender and that your winger isn't available down the line, so you turn out and play a great ball to your center back. You do really well in this 1v1, keeping this girl wide and not giving her much. There's 3 things that I don't like in this clip. See if you can figure them out. Have you figured it out yet? So the first thing that I don't like, you jump. You cannot jump and turn your back. The second thing is you don't look up once before that ball is played to the center back. And the third thing is obviously playing the center back who is not in a position to receive this ball. A great phrase is pass a blessing, not a burden. I counted at least 5 times where you played your center back a very difficult ball where they were under pressure, when you need to do a better job of finding your winger down the line and getting that ball forward into their feet and then combining off of the winger. You need to do a better job of getting better balls into your winger instead of your center back when available. Here you definitely had an opportunity to slip that winger through the gap, but instead you turned your back. Now let's contrast that last clip with one where you do a good job of getting that ball forward into the winger's feet. And another thing I love here is that you move forward and hover underneath that winger just in case they cut it back. Though I think I prefer you more on the wing, I do like you at outside back because you're able to manipulate the ball and play make, and you're a good passer. Although we get a little bit unlucky with this touch here, if this ball went through and we controlled it, we would have had a 4v3. Another thing I love about this clip is even though things didn't work out and it wasn't your fault that we have to transition, you really bust your butt to get back and help on defense. Look at your hustle here. And anytime that center back has to step out for you, you go inside and cover. That's the perfect positional play for an outside back when a center back is coming out to cover for you. That's brilliant defensive work. Anytime the wing is a little bit congested, it's good as a winger to cut in and combine with the 8 or the 10, which you do here. Now, even though the weight of the pass is wrong here, you do an excellent job of cutting in, playing the ball into the 8, and then going back forward to look for that through ball. Excellent decisions here. Again, great use of your ball skills here to just manipulate this defender to find some space for yourself, and you end up combining with the forward, which is a great decision. And what you're looking for is for this forward to either play a wall pass back to you for you to get in towards goal, or for that forward to set one of those two attacking midfielders, the 8 or the 10, so that they can play you that ball through. You just have to time your run to make sure you're not offside. Anytime a ball is played past their defensive line, as a winger, you need to get above the outside back as long as you're not offside for rebounds like this, or perhaps a flat ball across where you can finish on the backside with no goalkeeper. I do notice a little bit of a tendency for you to ball watch and let the play unfold instead of initiating opportunities for you to join in on the play. This directly ties into you as an outside back, staying way behind the play when you can join a lot of the time. You not scoring on the backside right here is the difference between being a reactive player and a proactive player. Here you do a great job defending of forcing a turnover here, and you combine with the 8 and then look to go forward, but you have to be disciplined to stay onside. Oh wait, what is this? You are so far onside, it's not even funny. Look at that their left back on the far side. You are way below them, and you're fine, you're onside, and this is probably going to turn out to a good goal scoring opportunity, but you're going to have bad officiating in youth soccer. So this next clip, you have been actually moved to attacking midfielder, and you're in a great spot right at the top of the box, and you decide to wall pass here, which is a great decision. Be very unselfish around the box. When you have the space, take the shot, but when you're in tight spaces, wall passes work wonders around the 18-yard box. This next clip, again, at attacking midfielder, you play a brilliant ball, and I don't think this player is offside again. Lionel makes another error, but you play a great ball through, and they're not offside. Okay, so as an attacking midfielder, you are responsible for their defensive midfielder who is here. Now, their defensive midfielder is pinched up way too high, which if you feel like your defense is going to be fine and it's not going to be dangerous, you can stay in this big pocket of space, because when we win the ball, you will be a target option for us to go forward. We can play through you, you can turn, and we can break out and counterattack. Now, if you feel your team is going to be under significant danger, then you have to come back to help on that defensive midfielder and take that player as your responsibility. Here it works out. We have a great breakout, love your wall pass again, and we go forward for a goal scoring opportunity. Here's another example of you as an attacking midfielder with good movement and simple combinations. I love how you manipulate the ball and look for wall passes and keep the ball moving. One little minute detail about playing attacking mid or forward is you don't want to be on the same line as your forward or vice versa. You guys always want to occupy different vertical lines on the field as well as horizontal lines. So one of you have to be a little bit on the stronger side of the field, and one of you need to be a little bit drifted off to the weak side of the field. It doesn't really matter which one, but you guys have to occupy different vertical lines to maximize space and build out. In this current situation, it doesn't matter as much since we don't have the ball, but right when we win the ball, this has to happen where you two have to separate off your vertical line to occupy different ones. Here you've been moved out to the right wing, and you do a really good job here of driving down the line, doing a quick move to get the window to serve the cross. The only problem is the cross has to be off the goalkeeper. That's my biggest rule of thumb when service is coming from the wings, is the cross has to be off the keeper. A good marker for you is to serve a hard cross just at the top of the 6-yard line. Here you are as right wing again, and you make 2 mistakes in this one. The first one is to play the feet here, when you should probably play a through ball to unleash that forward into the space behind, based on how the defense was set up. And the second one here is you cut this ball back where it's not a wrong decision, but it would be much more dangerous if you drive the line. So let's look at this first one. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to play this ball between their left back and center back, but you play a soft ball to the feet. It needed to be a firm ball into the space behind so we can release and go up into that attacking area down the line. This second one, you pull the ball back when you should have gone 1v1 on this player to drive the line since their defense is scrambling back, and drive a good cross off of the end line towards the top of the 6 or the back post. Instead, you play the ball back, which is the less dangerous option of the 2 that were available. In conclusion, some things I really like about your gameplay, some positives. I love how simple you play. You don't overcomplicate things. I like your adaptability to create space or beat a player and then combine, which ties into, I love that you're very unselfish as you play. You make the right pass and the right decision when it needs to be made. You don't try to do too much by yourself. I also really like your positioning as a winger and an attacking midfielder. Now, here are some things that I feel like you need to work on, especially for outside back. You need to work on your positioning. Like, for example, when you play outside back and the ball is being played into the opponent's winger, you are responsible for. You cannot allow that winger to receive freely and turn. You need to be more aggressive in your positioning. You need to be skin tight and actually look to intercept the pass coming in so that you can counterattack. Your near side center back should be able to cover you in behind if that ball is played past you. Be more aggressive in your positioning as an outside back and look to get forward more. Outside back is difficult on this team because this team goes forward so quickly. There's not a lot of build-up play, which means the outside backs do not have a lot of time to really join the attack. But what you can do is get yourself forward so that you can hover in behind for pass back options, even though you probably won't have the time and space to overlap a lot. Secondly, you need more shoulder checks. You do not shoulder check enough, which ties into one main point from this video, is you need to find the winger more when you receive the ball. A lot of times you play back to the center back, and sometimes it's good, sometimes not so good. Sometimes you put that center back under pressure with your passes from hovering forwards. You need to do a better job of manipulating the ball to get it down to the winger and then look to get in front of your man to support underneath.